My name is Alina. I'm 27 years old, and this story still hurts me every time I think about it. Since we were little girls, my sister followed me everywhere. If I wore blue, she wanted blue. If I said I loved ice cream, she loved it too. People called us best friends. She said I was her favorite person in the world, and I believed it. She was 1 year younger than me, quiet, sweet, and always close to me. In school, she sat next to me. In family photos, she stood by my side. Even when I got hurt, she cried more than I did. Back then, I thought she loved me more than anyone. I never knew she was trying to become me. When I brought a book, she read the same one. When I wore lipstick, she used the same shade. She copied my handwriting, even my perfume. I laughed at it. I felt proud, like a big sister with a cute little twin. But now, when I look back, I wonder if she ever wanted her own life, or if she always wanted mine. That feeling didn't come all at once. It started as a soft whisper in my heart, and one day, that whisper became a scream. But back then, in this first part of my story, I didn't see any danger, only love, only sisterhood. I was too blind to see what was coming. The day I got married, I felt like the happiest woman in the world. My dress was white, the sky was blue, and everyone smiled just like a dream. My sister helped me get ready. She did my hair, fixed my earrings, told me I looked like a princess. She smiled so much, but for one small moment, I saw tears in her eyes. I asked if she was okay. She said she was just happy for me. I believed her. She held my hands before I walked to the stage. Her hands were cold, but she hugged me tightly. It felt like she didn't want to let go. My husband was standing there, waiting for me. He looked nervous, but happy. When I reached him, I looked back. My sister was watching. She didn't blink. She just stared. That night, after all the guests left, I found her sitting alone outside. She said nothing, just looked at the sky. I thought she was tired, maybe sad that I would live in a new house. I didn't think too much. But now, when I remember her face that night, it wasn't sadness. It was something else, something deeper, a storm that was waiting quietly to break everything I had. It was just a normal evening. We were sitting at the dinner table. Me, my husband, and my sister. She had come to visit again. She started coming more often after my wedding. I felt happy about that. At first, we ate together, laughed a little. Then she told a funny story about our childhood. My husband laughed more than I expected. He looked at her, smiling with warm eyes. And then he said something. He said she was clever. He said she had a strong memory and a good heart. I smiled, but something inside me felt strange, like a soft sting deep in my chest. It was a small moment, but after that, I started noticing more things. He listened to her more than before. He laughed at her jokes, even when they weren't that funny. He asked her opinion, even about our home decoration. One day, he said she reminded him of me, that she had the same charm, same calm way of speaking. I laughed a little, but I also felt a little empty inside. Why was he looking at her that way? Why was she smiling back like that? I didn't have answers then, so I closed my eyes to the feeling. I told myself it was just family, just care, just comfort. But deep down, something quiet had already started to break. After my wedding, we moved into a small house. It wasn't perfect, but it was warm. It felt like the start of something beautiful. My sister came often. She said she missed me. I believed her. Sometimes she came when I was at work. She said she just wanted to surprise me or help clean up. My husband was home more than me. His job was flexible. He said they just talked, had tea, watched some shows. I smiled, but inside, something didn't feel right. Once I came home early. They were in the kitchen, laughing. He was showing her how to cook something. She was standing very close to him. They both looked surprised when I entered. Her face changed. She stepped back quickly. My husband smiled and said, "Oh, you're home already?" That moment stayed in my heart. It played in my mind like a soft warning. From that day, I noticed. Whenever I entered the room, they went quiet. Whenever I made tea, they had already made some. One evening, I said I'd come home late, but I returned early on purpose. My sister was sitting on the couch. My husband was beside her, not touching, but not far either. They looked too comfortable. I didn't say anything, but that night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling like something was slowly changing right in front of me, and I was too afraid to name it. The day I found out I was pregnant, I cried, but not from fear, from happiness. I sat in the bathroom, holding the test in my hand. My heart was beating fast, but soft, like something gentle had touched my life. I walked out slowly and told him. He looked at me, quiet for a second, then he smiled and hugged me. But that smile, it didn't stay long. In the days that followed, he became different. He stayed out more, came home late. Sometimes he looked at me like I was too much. I thought maybe he was just nervous. It's a big thing, becoming a father. But then I noticed something else. My sister, she came less, and when she did, she didn't touch my belly, didn't ask how I was feeling. She just sat far away, quiet. I tried to talk to her. I told her how scared I was, how excited I was. She just nodded, said nothing. One night, I saw my husband sitting on the balcony. He was on the phone. I couldn't hear the words, but I saw the way he smiled. That smile, it wasn't for me. I held my belly gently. My baby kicked for the first time that night. It was the happiest moment of my life, and also the saddest, because in that moment, I knew something was breaking inside my family, and I couldn't stop it. I whispered to my baby, "I will love you, even if no one else does." That night, I slept holding my stomach and crying quietly into the pillow. It was a quiet morning. I was sitting on the sofa, drinking warm tea. The house was silent, too silent. My husband had left early. My sister hadn't visited in days. I was 6 months pregnant, tired, lonely, trying to stay strong. Then, my phone buzzed. It was a message from a number I didn't know. At first, I didn't want to open it, but something told me I should. I clicked it. My hands began to shake. It was from a girl I had never met. She said she had something I needed to see. She sent screenshots, photos, messages. My heart started to race. My chest felt tight. I couldn't breathe for a moment. There they were, my husband, my sister, texting, calling, meeting, behind my back. I read every word. Every message felt like a knife. He called her by sweet names, said he missed her, said he felt alive when he was with her. And she replied, with hearts, with "I love yous." My hands felt cold. My teacup fell and broke, but I didn't even move. I just sat there, staring at the screen, staring at the truth. The pain was too deep for tears. A stranger had shown me what my own family hid. A girl who didn't even know me had more honesty than the two people I trusted most. In that moment, something inside me broke. Not my love, not my heart, but my belief that I was safe. I couldn't keep it inside anymore. I had to know the truth from her lips, from the sister I once called my best friend. That evening, I called her, told her to come over. She said okay, like nothing was wrong. When she came, she smiled, acted normal, but I was shaking inside. I asked her to sit. She looked confused. I looked into her eyes and asked, "Are you in love with him?" Her face changed. Her hands froze. She looked down. Then she laughed, a small, nervous laugh. She said I was imagining things. She said I was just emotional because of pregnancy. She touched my arm gently, said she would never do that to me. But her eyes couldn't meet mine, and her smile looked broken. I didn't show her the messages, not yet. I wanted to hear the truth from her, but she didn't give it. She chose to lie. She chose to pretend. And that hurt me more than the truth. I nodded slowly, didn't argue, just watched her leave. She walked away with calm steps, as if she hadn't crushed my world just minutes ago. That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling again. My baby moved. I held my belly and cried without sound. The people I loved most were hiding knives behind their smiles. I was not just heartbroken. I was alone, carrying a child and carrying pain that had no name. I waited 2 days, 2 long days. Every minute felt like a heavy stone on my heart. He was acting normal, talking about food, about baby names. I watched him carefully. Every smile felt like a lie. Every word like poison covered in honey. I couldn't stay quiet anymore. That night, when he came home, I told him we needed to talk. He looked confused, but followed me to the living room. I picked up my phone, opened the screenshots, showed them to him. His face went white, completely still. He didn't speak, just stared at the screen. Then he looked at me. No apology, no tears, just silence. I asked him, why? Why her? Why both of you? He said nothing for a long time. Then he whispered, "It just happened." My knees felt weak. I sat down slowly. My chest burned. It just happened. Like it was nothing. Like our love, our baby, our life was small. I didn't scream. I didn't cry in front of him. I just sat there with my hands on my stomach, protecting the only thing that still felt real. He tried to say more, but I held up my hand. No more words, no more lies. That night, he slept in the guest room, and I didn't sleep at all. I watched the night sky and wondered, how did the people I loved most become the ones who hurt me the deepest? The next morning, the sun came up, but everything inside me still felt dark. I looked at myself in the mirror. My face was pale, my eyes were tired, but there was something new inside me, a quiet strength. I packed my bag slowly, just a few clothes, some baby things, and my journal. He was still sleeping. I didn't wake him. I didn't leave a note. Some things don't need words. Some pain is already understood. I called a taxi, went to my mother's house. She opened the door and saw my face. She didn't ask questions. She just held me, and I cried like a child. For days, I stayed quiet. I didn't check my phone. I didn't reply to messages. I just listened to the sound of my baby's heartbeat in my mind. That sound gave me peace. I walked in the garden barefoot, felt the earth, held my belly, and whispered, "You are loved, even if the world feels broken." One evening, my sister came to the gate. She didn't say anything, just stood there. I looked at her, and for the first time, I didn't feel hate. I felt sadness, and then peace. I turned away, not out of anger, but because I had finally chosen myself, my baby, my healing, my peace. Sometimes walking away is not weakness, it's love for your own soul. And that day, I started to believe that maybe I could build a new life, even with a broken heart. Weeks passed. The pain didn't disappear, but it changed. It became quieter, like a shadow that followed me, but didn't scare me anymore. I started doing small things. I helped my mother in the kitchen, watered the plants, read books to my unborn baby, and sometimes I smiled. Each kick from my baby reminded me life was still growing inside me. Hope was still possible. One afternoon, I stood in front of the mirror. I looked at my face again. It still had sadness, but also something new. I looked like a woman who had walked through fire and came out softer, but stronger. My husband tried to contact me many times, messages, calls, even a letter, but I didn't reply. Not because I hated him, but because I had learned something important. Love doesn't hurt you again and again. Love doesn't hide. Love doesn't lie with sweet eyes. I also thought about my sister. She was still my blood, but not my home. Some wounds heal, but the scars teach you who to trust. Now, I wait for my baby. I sing to him at night. I tell him stories, not about pain, but about strength, kindness, truth. And I remind myself every day, I lost 2 people I loved, but I found the one person who mattered most, myself. And soon, I'll hold my baby in my arms, and we will begin again, together, with love that is pure and peace that is real. Sometimes, the people who smile with you are the same ones who hide the deepest lies. But pain is not the end. It's a mirror. It shows you who truly stands beside you and who was never real. I lost the love I trusted most, but I found something more powerful. Myself, my baby, my peace. If you felt this story, please share it and never forget, you deserve honesty. You deserve love that never hides.